fulfill your potential. Your attitude determines whether you are living life or life is living you. A famous statement from one of my favorite books is this: I am not a victim of the world I see. And that's a lesson. I'll tell you, it's from the Course in Miracles, which I used to study many years ago. If you're living your life as though you are, if all your language and everything, the way you show up for life is poor me and ain't it awful, and everybody's going to come around and pat you on the back and poor baby and all that stuff, that's one way you can get attention. It's not necessarily a healthy way. You know, you'll get people who will correspond to that, you know, but it's a setup for you. I don't want to be seeing myself as a victim of anything, ever. Our teaching will tell us that we're masters of our own fate, we're captains of our own ship, we're authors of our own experience. Louise would say we're each 100% responsible for everything that happens to us. So it's very different living this way. Author of your own experience, having power that you can use, and life that responds to you, and the realization that life responds to you. That's a very powerful kind of consciousness. A disempowered consciousness is one where you're looking everywhere for good. You're like Tina Turner, you're looking, we don't need another hero. But you know, that's what people do. When my ship comes in, when this boyfriend comes in, when that happens, it'll always be in the future, it'll never be in the present. And the success and happiness will elude you. Because in fact, it's never outside of you, it's always an inner journey. What we call the journey without a distance, to a place that perhaps most people never visit. It's the Judy Garland story. There's no place like home. You know, it's always here, in you, operating through you, as you. And yet it's the best kept secret of the ages. People go off to every type of religion, every type of psychic, every type of everything, looking for answers that really can quite easily, well, maybe not easily, but readily be found within you. So we're not victims here, not at all. Setbacks, and we have them, can be real hard. But setbacks can be setups for greater opportunities. So we begin by checking our attitude. Every week we come together in this class on Thursday, and I ask a very important question, because I'm teaching people hopefully to become mindful of what it is that they're spinning inside of their brains. And the question is always, what has it been like being you lately? What has it been like? What has the conversation been with the most important person in the world? And that is going to be the best indicator, the best barometer of what the coming days and weeks will be. It won't be about what's going on with your boyfriend or the economy or anything else. It's always going to be about you and that inner conversation. That's the conversation we always say that matters most. So we do checkups. We can do a checkup on our attitude. Every Thursday, what's it like being you? I ask that question, so that's a setup question for Sunday, because on Sunday I'm going to ask you what's the good news after the Sunday message, because that's an opportunity for you to share what your demonstrations have been. Because if you're learning to be mindful of your conversation and you're learning to change the conversation around from what maybe is negative to more positive, logically, you're going to start to have demonstrations on Sunday that you can share the good news. You can say, oh my goodness, I've demonstrated this, I've been more successful at this, I have not been negative, I've been positive, I have not been using the word should so much, I've been letting people be, I've been relaxing, I've been letting go and letting the universe do its thing, because I'm learning to know that everything is okay. So we pay attention to our attitude, we take inventories. I became kind of good at that, 1980. Started doing inventories of the exact nature of my situations, any and all. And not with an eye of trying to see what's wrong, but just to try to have an idea of what's going on. We're involved in this center now in a couple different things. We're involved in a really interesting growth process, an integral growth process every Tuesday night, which is so important for this center and beyond this center for the New Thought movement. And we're asking ourselves some very big questions like, who have we come here to be? Well, that's what we do every Thursday night here as well. You know, I'll tell you the answer. You've come here to realize who you are. You've come here to realize that you are one with the one. You've come here to realize that, you know, all power is yours. You've come here to learn about self-mastery. You've come here to learn how to demonstrate a first-class life. You've come here to learn how to be an authentic expression and radiant expression of this God being that you are. You've come here to realize that you are amazing. Now, all that being said, people don't operate from that place of understanding all the time, myself included. So there's an old expression, we teach what we need to learn. And I've been with this material for many years, and there's been a lot of improvement in every area, and it's my pleasure to share this information because all of you can open up these avenues in mind for greater fulfillment in every area of your life. It can be more and better health, more opportunity, more peace, more happiness, more joy, more of every good thing. So the question comes up tonight. When's the last time you really checked in with your attitude? And how are you viewing life? Are you optimistic as can be? Or does your attitude need a tune-up? Soon we're going to be involved in the Q process, which will be on Sunday nights. Ian, who is one of our members, one of the people in our leadership, is going to take up this. This was a part of a process I was involved in 2016 in a growth, in learning the integral growth model. And in that process, Ian's going to be asking you some big questions, like who have you come here to be? And I've already told you the answers. But he's going to bring you through a process where you'll ask questions of yourself. And hopefully in that process, you will uncover things within yourself, maybe that are buried in, maybe it's time to let go of them. I'll give you another little secret. If you're really working with affirmative prayer will help you get to the same place. Because if you're really doing affirmative prayer as you could, as you're centering yourself and realizing you're coming to a place of realization of spirit, this oneness of spirit, and you're making a declaration that is true, anything unlike that becomes revealed to you in the treatment process. Spiritual mind treatment is the most powerful prayer process that anyone has ever known, but you have to do it. It's more than just making positive statements in mind. You really have to come to a place of belief, and not everyone does. Many people, their affirmative prayers are really affirmations, and to have the prayer be powerful, you have to come to a place of belief. You have to have, as Trower would say, a shift in consciousness, or the bumper stickers of old used to say, shift happens. For spiritual mind treatment to be, I don't know if the word is efficacious or powerful, there needs to be that shift in consciousness. So that's one of our methods, one of the things we teach here. The Q process is another, and that's a place for you to get at the things that are underneath some of the shadow work, because the truth about you is that it's like you exist as imprisoned splendor. You are one with the one, and the whole process here is to get the debris out of the way. Ernest Holmes talked about the dead bodies, the corpses, the ancient corpses that we trudge around with. And those are the things that obscure the radiance that's within, and it stops you from being able to experience the joy and the wonder that's all around you. You've heard said before, the kingdom of God is at hand. It is. It's here. It's operating through you as you. And yet, sometimes it's elusive. And it's elusive because we got our stuff that we hang on to. And all of these processes that we're describing are just ways to uncover the beauty that is you. And so you can experience yourself in a more radiant, enlightened way. Back to attitudes. I remember telling this group not too long ago that there was a study from University of Pennsylvania that not surprisingly concluded that people with positive attitudes are much more successful, than similarly talented people who are more analytical and critical. One thing for sure, you know, those folks are going to be happier than I am, or you are, if we're analytical, right? So here's the point to the study. Optimism is a learned thing, and it heals. Okay, optimism is something that's learned. Most of us were not raised to be optimistic. Nothing against my parents, right? But they taught you what to be afraid of often and what to be look out for. Optimism is a learned thing, the study concluded. It directly affects your health, your happiness, your wealth, and just about every area of your life. So we come here to talk about, think about healing thoughts, learn how some healing strategy, learn about power and how to use it. A wise person by the name of Disraeli once said, "Nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never go any higher than you think." I thought, well, that's appropriate for tonight. Nurture your mind with great thoughts, the greatest of thoughts, for you will never go any higher than you think. 1993, Dr. Bill Tolliver, my great teacher, who used to press all my buttons, of course, those are the great ones. He used to advise his senior students to spend time thinking, spend time with the great thinkers, commune with the greatest minds. In those days, we'd have to go to the books, right? Ralph Waldo Emerson or Socrates or whoever it is for you, right? And commune with them, and you can if you really have that type of willingness. Put your attention there. Don't spend it all on watching television for your own sake, because you're just going to hear recycled what's wrong. And today it's very easy to spend time with great minds. You don't have to pull out Emerson's essays and all these similar types of treasures. You can go to YouTube. I was listening to Ernest Holmes directly the day before yesterday. It was quite amazing, He's, the way he spoke and the way he said things. I'm listening to Raymond Charles Barker now directly. We have everything at our disposal to commune with some great ideas. And commune with great minds. What was the line? Optimism is learned and it heals. And so I would suggest, for your own sake, spend some time with some of these people. See, you're the person who's determining where you're going to go. So you have so much time in a given day, and where are you going to put your attention is all I'm asking. So today's very easy for all of us. It does require a certain discipline. If you've got a TV and you've got some options, or even your phone. Most of you today have YouTube. You could go to TED Talks. Listen to some good comedy. Do something that will lift your heart, your soul up a little bit. I used to read Emerson, and it would confound me because it was tedious, but I would learn to read Emerson aloud, because that's how he was an orator. And I would just keep plowing through, and then the thing is, what he was teaching then would just open up for me, and it would be breathtaking. I don't think you have to work that hard to get at that kind of information today. But you do need to have the desire. My notes to myself from a year ago: steer away from sensational television. I'll let you figure out what sensational television is. You were meant to be exceptional. Our classes will give you a roadmap, how to evolve more consciously, how to deliberately step into greater circumstances. It always comes back to your thinking and your attitude. Remember, nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never go any higher than you think. And I guess I'll have a few closing ideas here. Everyone has an attitude, but not everyone has the same kind of attitude. You can't buy an attitude, but you can cultivate one. Your attitude always reflects you. Some have attitudes that propel them along, help them deal with challenges, overcome every kind of obstacle. Others will have attitudes that will anchor them and slow them down and stop them altogether. Think of people you know who have a can-do attitude. There's nothing, and I can think of a couple of you on the call. I won't name you out and call you out, but you just have an attitude can do, and I know you, and whatever comes your way, you're bigger than it. Louise had a convention probably 15 years ago, maybe longer. It was called the I Can Do It convention, and that's really the consciousness that you want to develop, right? That whatever is in front of you, you are greater than it. It would not be in your life if you were not able to handle it and to move past it. Next question for this particular class is, do you like being around optimistic people? I know I do, because it lifts me up. It's attractive also. And then I know there's some people out there that probably don't tend to be as positive, and you want to work on yourself, and this is the right class to do it. When I used to teach a version of this class probably 20 years ago, we joked a lot around the nursery character Chicken Little, and we talked about the Chicken Little consciousness jokingly. And that type of person with that kind of consciousness really is like the sky is falling. You can tell them how good it's going to be, and you can be their champion, and you can cheer them on, be their coach. I've been a coach, I've been a counselor, I've been many things. But the thing I understand is people who are unhappy and they're just like caught up in, everything is terrible. Their cup is full with everything is terrible. And, the sky is falling for them, and look out, you don't want to hang too close to them, because, they're bringing it towards them. And they're not at fault. If you know anybody like that in your family or your friends, this is where they are. This is where they are by virtue of consciousness. And two lessons from that. Everybody is where they are by virtue of consciousness, and they're in the divine right place, and they're learning the lessons they need to learn. And you're not there to fix them. You're here to transform your own consciousness. And remember that. Your purpose and function here is to wake up and to enjoy yourself and express yourself and to live life joyously. So I could go on and on with this. I don't think I want to. Ernest Holmes would say, there's power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. So I'm suggesting to everybody, let's start using it creatively, constructively, and have a sense of fun. You have the power to do everything and anything. And that, I think I'm going to close with a quote tonight that I've said 3 times. Nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never go any higher than you think. Elevate your attitude, and everything else will take care of itself. So ends tonight's lesson, and I'm going to open up the floor to all your wonderful comments. And I think I'm going to start with the man with 3 names. Tonight, it's going to be Alan now. Usually it's Tony or Jackson. Come on up here.